is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Condo.
Yeah? Oh yeah, true. Jet, you got why is he like doubling up on you?
Testing.
Oh, robot mode again. No, it's hard style. Basically, what it'll do is you can jump in and it'll record 40 minutes. He's back. He's back. He's chilling. Look at him.
Bro, he looks homeless.
He lives upstairs, bro. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why. Welcome to Since We Last Spoke, the first episode. I'm joined by Max Donna and Jet Williams, two crazy, immense creatives. We're like each an infinity stone that's part of the gauntlet, the new. I feel like infinity gauntlet. You know that goes generationally. But
I love that.
what I mean by that is just like two crazy creatives that I've met. So part of
Hell
my
yeah,
Thank you.
hell yeah.
met Max
Thank you.
Hey,
really
there's
early on.
three crazy creatives in here. We got Mr. Zeke in the
Facts.
cut. The
For real,
GOAT.
yes. And I'm
I
Zeke.
think before we start, I just want to say, Zeke, man, I'm gonna give you your flowers.
Left.
Hands down, nobody in Sydney is like, I know you're not in Sydney currently, but I'm just saying in Sydney is creating at the speed, magnitude, and velocity that you do, bro. I feel like every
Facts.
time I go on Instagram, I see a story pop up of you just cooking on something. Something. You're just active 24/7. And it's like,
Yes.
I know there's people out there that be posting on Instagram crazy, like you just post stuff all the time just to look busy, but I know for a fact that you are outside running around, running amok, just like
Mm.
creating, and it inspires me, bro. And that's the one thing I know you're always trying to do, and you're completing that mission every day, bro. So we appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
I
Thank
agree.
you.
100% with what Max said. I agree. 100%. Like, bro, you have the most. I see you put up so many things. You're always working on ideas, new designs, like every day. Every day. So we'll just say thank you, give you your flowers, and thank you for inviting us on as you're the first guest. Like, what an honor that is. But yeah.
It's blessed, bro. I
Hell yeah.
appreciate that. I will happily take those flowers. Yeah.
Mm.
And I'm glad
Make
that
su-
like
Make sure you water them though. Like you got to give yourself the props. You know what I mean? Like we can give you flowers, but you got to water them and take care of them because you got to.
Facts.
You're already, you know.
yeah, blessed. I definitely will. I got access to clean water still here in Milan, so thankfully.
That's
Good,
a good thing. That's a good thing.
good.
I want your flowers looking like this background right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro, you just transported yourself from the patio to the field. You shrunk yourself down, bro.
Exactly. I like it down here. It's nice.
Yeah, that's philosophically, you got to do that. Shrink yourself down. But
100%.
yeah, I really appreciate it, because I feel like you two especially are like, I feel the same thing. Like it's just you guys are, in my opinion, like whether, whenever the time span is in between someone who creates something, you guys are always creating. Like when it comes to the time that you put something out into the world, it's like it's evidently better than the last in a way.
Just
It's
wait.
on a
Let's go.
progression. Yeah, and I know I feel like when I link with Jet, I'm like I'm waiting for the just wait. It's like I'm like, bro, what you're doing now is crazy. He's like, just wait.
That should be your catchphrase, Jet.
Yeah.
Just
Actually,
wait.
I like that. Just wait.
Just
Just wait. Because it's
now, but
true. Like,
as soon as gonna be no more waiting. It's gonna be right now. You
I
know.
like
This
that.
old
Maybe
Italian dude
maybe for
looking
the
in my
next six
window.
months it can be just wait, and then
Yeah.
whenever the product's ready, it's right now. That's the new
Facts.
catchphrase.
I think we're still both of us still in just wait time a little
Yeah.
bit, but like not as in just wait. Let's do it next year energy, like as we were talking about before. But like, yeah.
Look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. You gonna see him? Oh, can you see that guy?
Bro, who is that?
Buongiorno.
Homeless guy?
Bro, I don't know. This guy, he's like looking, he was just like fully staring at him. Anyway, these are crazy.
Bro, we should get him in the episode, man. That's
Why
Jump in.
crazy.
He's back, he's back. He's chilling. Look at him.
Bro, he looks homeless.
He lives
Big
upstairs,
man
bro.
too.
I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why he's like so suspect there.
ignoring me.
No
He's
one.
still fully looking. He's like
We'll
so
we'll
curious.
monitor the situation as it goes, bro. If he knocks, let him in.
I will let him. I'll jump him in the stream. He's
Yeah,
just anyway. Sorry to interrupt, but he technically interrupted. So
exactly,
me and
exactly.
this
Noisy
Alderton, we got
neighbors.
we got beef, bro. I swear. Like upstairs, they'd be making a ruckus like at 1 a.m. and I'll be like, hey, like rough, I'm cool, or like from down here. Because
Classic,
I'm
bro.
like,
So tell us, bro, where are you right now?
okay, right now, I'm in Milan. I'm in Porto Romano, which is like this town just down south from the central area of Milan, and it's
Mhm.
super beautiful down here. Like it's like really nice. Such a big sense of community here. And like Italians, I feel like it makes sense the whole mafia thing because you come
Mhm.
here and you're like, there's so much like just community, that is just you just walk through the town and you can tell like oh they're friends and they're hanging out and they know each other and like neighbors just really do connect on a different sort of level. So it goes for
Mm.
like it's a positive thing and also just like a weird thing as well because Italians want to know like this guy, your business, and they're not
Interesting.
afraid. Like he was just fully looking in here. Like I don't know what he's saying in Italian, but in my opinion, like super obnoxious. Like who the fuck even are you? Like what are you doing here?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That's
But
so funny. That's interesting. It's a double-edged sword, like you're saying, though. It's like
mm,
I love the idea of community and I love little pockets of communities that we have in Sydney, but it's like, yeah, where's the line drawn, like, with
yeah,
someone just
Your own
imposing
personal
themselves in your life?
space.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting. That's very
yeah,
interesting.
and true. Like old school Italians have this like I think innately part of their culture and just the way that like maybe Milan is because there's so many foreigners. Like
Mm,
home like full bred Italians are just all like that. Like they're just like
interesting.
if you don't look like an OG Italian, they're like, "What are you doing?" Like, this is my space." It's like, bro, I live here. Okay, like,
Wow.
just get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Like, looking through my window, but
Crazy,
he's like,
man.
"You're in, my country." They have this real sense of like ownership. So that's another thing about Milan that surprised me. I thought there'd be like so many more Italians here. But there's so many more like different races in Milan. Like it's so multicultural. I was like,
Interesting.
it was really surprising. Like
Mm,
it's like I know y'all have traveled a lot, so it's like you go to that country that you're expecting to see just like I guess assumedly one particular kind of the group of people. And it's like some of my days I'm like, I swear I just see all sort of like Arabic people, which is like not a problem, but I'm like, where am I right now?
That's
yeah, that's
crazy.
cool.
Yeah.
I
Never
like
would have
that.
expected that.
Yeah, yeah. So it's really different. Like even at the morning market, it's like mostly like Arabic people, like Chinese. There's Indians here. There's a mix, you know.
Mm,
So I guess
cool,
it's like
cool.
Milan's like a bit of a valley. So everybody just tumbles down the hill.
That's
So you there
interesting.
for
I
school? Are
like
you
that
there for
concept.
school, Z? You
But
there for
yeah,
school?
so basically, like the story goes, during the same time I had the fashion show, that last show, I was like putting together like a portfolio and some of my work to send out to different schools because I was like, I really wanted to try and get a scholarship somewhere. So I sent out a bunch like to the States, to like Paris and different places, and to even to Japan, and I got a bunch back. Like the one from Japan did come back, but it was all in Japanese, and I was like, I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready for that. Like,
Wow.
Bro,
so
you know
like
Google Translate
Yeah.
exists, right?
translate does for real, but I was
Bro,
like,
you can
man.
download the app and take a photo and it'll translate it for you.
You can. And since I guess at the time I didn't know that, but since I've become more
Mm,
savvy, I'm like, just boom, like AI translate this um, but
facts.
even still, like I got it back from Italy and I was like, the scholarship was pretty good. It was 35%. So I'm like, okay, dope. Like I was going for full because like, I mean, who wouldn't? But I'm like, at any point, that's enough of like a narrative for me to kind of like be like, all right, like that's some direction that I want to go. And so we pursuing that. And the actual degree is like styling and art direction because
That's sick.
that's sort of where I feel like I was leaning into at that point in the progression. I was leaning less into like being behind a sewing machine and more into like, where do we put these things that the sewing machine creates?
Mm,
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
very
as you
cool.
become more of a bigger designer, especially for you, you're gonna have to be less in the seams in a way, and more like seeing the vision from above, because
Mm.
as you scale a brand, I guess you're gonna need to like direct people and style it and curate the world.
Yep.
And I think that's just your next step that I guess you're taking,
Yeah.
You're going
And
from making the clothes to seeing where the clothes should go and overseeing that bigger vision.
it's true. And look, as pioneers of our own respective crafts and like fans respectively between us both and like some interlinked, which is great. But like
Mm,
that's really what we are. Like we are the guides. Like at the end of the day, we are not only the creatives, like the ones, we're not only the Yoda who pulls the X-Wing out of the swamps, but we're also like the job is to provide enough energy to guide someone when it comes to that. And, that's like in part still creating, but also understanding that the power that we have in creation is also curation. And you guys
facts.
really showed that. So we kind of touched on it in the other stream, in the other recording, but you guys recently had a art show. If you want to
Yes,
explain that,
yes.
that was so cool. I got to only see that.
Yeah. So
Exhibition.
man, it's pretty crazy. Like essentially, yeah, like what like Jet just said, it ended up being an exhibition of a few different kind of collective pieces. But it kind of started out as obviously Jet released his first ever novel. Obviously, maybe he can speak a bit more on that, but so it started off as a book launch for it. And then I was working on this documentary at the same time with very, very similar subject matter. Um, and he kind of just was like, yo, we should, connect on this and do this together. I was like, damn, this is a good enough reason for me to really, one, support the homie, support other people, but also, okay, this is going to like kind of give me that kick up the ass to finish my documentary and show it to people. Because prior to that screening of my documentary, nobody else had seen it besides me. So
Whoa.
Wow.
it was a pretty vulnerable moment, but I think it needed to be done because yeah, it was just awesome. It was cool. Anyway, I'll let Jet kind of speak on his book, and you'll get a bit more of a
Mhm,
sense of what the
Mm,
documentary and the larger art exhibit was actually about.
mhm.
yeah. So like one thing to like take Max's point further about being vulnerable. I remember when I was watching the documentary, it was the first time I even saw it as well. Like I didn't even like I saw one little snippet he sent me one time and I deleted it off my phone just to keep it like no one can see it. And I remember when it was playing, Max actually left the room and he wasn't even in the room, I don't think, when it was being played. Like so I can tell it was definitely a moment of vulnerability. And I think it was so cool letting people watch something that you made, and just like have such great feedback and interest, and like people loved it, which was like so cool to see.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole exhibit was called Off the Rails, which is like same title as my book.
Mhm.
And the book is basically like a coming of age story set in Sydney, graffiti and urban exploration novel. So similar subject matter to Max's documentary, which is called These City Circles. So it explores the same I guess territory in a
Yeah.
way, different angles, but similar at the same time. I'd say it's like different lenses on the same subject, if that
Yeah.
makes
It's
sense.
it's almost like
So,
two separate people looking at the same
mm,
kind of scene or
mm,
looking at the same. Yeah.
and it's interesting because I guess my book is, I wouldn't say there's a specific time period it's set, because half of it, it is a fictional story, but it is, you can assume that it's set in 2015, around that time, 10, 11 years ago, while Max's documentary is kind of set in the modern present day with the same kids jumping trains, climbing rooftops. So it's interesting to see that contrast between my book, which is like the olden days, you could say, and then Max's documentary, which is today. And then it's even more interesting is in my book, at the end of it, I don't want to spoil it, but there's another group of explorers and people exploring Sydney known as the Cave Clan. And basically, that's a whole nother era that was doing it before we were there. And then, like, it
Mm,
just happens. And it's this very interesting loop. And that's what Max was kind of exploring in his documentary. He can talk more on that, but the idea of a loop. And it's like this cycle of that kids go through, adults go through, and it's like they're still climbing the same buildings, exploring the same train tunnels, and it's very interesting to see that, literally, like that loop. And
mm.
for anyone who doesn't know, the city circle loop, Max's thing's called These City Circles. City Circle is what Sydney's metro train line is called. The city circle for like the main stops. But yeah.
Is that literally because it runs in the circular
It
like
doesn't actually
route?
run like in a perfect circle, but I guess it's just like the idea of it is like a loop where yeah, it'll take you
It is a
from,
loop, yeah.
for
Mm.
example, Circular Quay to wherever you go, and then it'll come back to Circular Quay, that same line.
Yeah,
Mm.
Um,
it's cool. It's a cool
but
like
yeah, man. So
underlying meaning to
yeah,
the
yeah,
narrative.
exactly. So yeah, obviously, the city circle train line, which is I guess where most of the stunts and scenes and characters that you meet throughout the documentary kind of live across, or just where the events take place
Mm.
along. But then obviously, as Joe was just saying, it's like the city life is a circle, you know? It's like, bro, it's actually crazy just seeing the kids do what they do today in terms of, all the antics that they got up to. And like we were doing the same things, or we were kind of watching other kids do those same things when we were their age. And it's just like,
Mm.
and then like you were saying, back in the 90s and the 80s and maybe even earlier, there was people doing the exact same stuff. And it's just like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's kind of like, yes, it is a documentary about stuff that's happening right now in Sydney, but maybe there's actually a larger picture here where this is life in general. It's like a slice of life where it's like there's always just these really interesting Ouroboros kind of circles that are just constantly rotating throughout the world, probably.
that's it. That's
Facts.
Um, yeah,
Mm.
it's bigger than just, the graffiti and urbex scene in Sydney. This is almost a little
always.
study on just life cycles.
Yeah. It's
Um,
it's that's the philosophy of that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then just one more really interesting kind of symbiosis about the whole thing was that Jet and I did not even know that we were both making these things. He didn't know
Facts.
about the documentary till about, what would you say, like 3 or so months before we did the art exhibit?
Two, honestly, yeah, 2, 3 months before. And like weirdly, I started my book around the same time Max started filming his documentary.
Mm.
About 15
Like,
months or so.
yeah, literally a year and a half that took me to make my book, write it, edit
Crazy.
it multiple times, multiple rounds of revisions. Same as
Yeah.
Max. He's been shooting discreetly, secretly, and like people still haven't seen it, except unless you're in that room, you haven't seen it. And I kind of
Yeah.
like that it's like you had to be there to see this thing. It's
Mm.
like it's a privilege to be in person. And I think I really enjoyed the in person, display of art and live feedback because in IG comments, you're so disconnected from your audience. Like you could post something tonight and get tons of like reactions and comments, but it doesn't really feel like it's landing. It's nice for a
Mm.
couple minutes, but then like I feel like the afterglow of a real life show lasts like much longer than a quick hit of dopamine from one post.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes. Yes,
It
absolutely. It's
definitely,
like,
yeah.
oh, sorry to cut you off, Zeke. What were you
No,
gonna say?
no. I guess it
Oh.
definitely can. Like, I do think that's
Mm,
also a matter of like the weight in which you like allocate to different things that occur,
yeah.
like we also as like a society scale comments much lower than something like, obviously like real human interaction, which is totally fair. But
Hmm.
I think there's another side to it where it's maybe like unfair if like, if someone is actually giving you a comment that you feel like is really open, I mean, there's opportunity to read into that and really like take in some of that. I think, comment sections have forever been this tug of war between people that are like memeing and people that actually like are meaning, meaning and
Yes,
meaning.
Mm,
yes. It's an interesting
true,
thing
bro.
because I think sometimes, and I don't know if this is a good or bad thing, but maybe we can discuss it a bit. But I think maybe sometimes when I go to the comment section on a video or a photo or some sort of piece of art on social media, I'm looking for maybe sometimes it's like I'm just looking for general discussion, but also sometimes when I go to a comment section, I'm looking for validation on my own ideas. Or maybe I'm
Facts.
I'm I'm trying to hear what other people are saying, and maybe that will give me more
Mm,
of an informed, or actually maybe it'll give me more of like a. I'm worried that sometimes when I read comments, I'm going to it'll almost inform what I actually think about the piece of art I'm staring at instead of just making my own mind up. And also, one more thing. Um, it's interesting because like sometimes comment sections can kind of get quite performative. Like people want to get a bunch of likes on their comment. And I find that quite
hmm.
interesting too. And sometimes people aren't trying to be performative, but people resonate so much of what they said that they just it gets like thousands of likes. It's really interesting. Like the comment section in
Yeah.
itself should be studied. Seriously.
It is like it's its own social space.
Dude, it's
Mm,
crazy. It's a social space within a social space within a social space.
What do you think,
well,
Jeff? Because actually this happened recently with one of your posts, and you
Yeah.
posted with the Penguin Books interview, and then
hmm
which was a cool it's its own hilarious thing. And then I
hmm
actually commented something that I like every now and then, like it taps in and it gives me a notification or pop up that people are like liking the comment, and I'm like, that comment is really popping on the
I
poll.
know,
So,
I
and it
know.
makes me feel good because I'm just like, well, that was also just a true comment. I'm like, you are speaking to the CEO of boring because I mean,
And
it's
I love that.
And
I remember reading that and it resonated with me too. I was like, Z's
yeah.
onto some shit there.
you weren't
So
even trying to get likes on that either, Z. Like you just said it.
yeah,
And like I
but
one thing I noticed with this video in particular is the reason why it actually got a lot of engagement and like a lot
mm,
of people were mad. I think what happened there was almost like a defined, I don't want to say enemy, but when in social media, when there is an opposition, people love to take sides. And that's what I realized before. Like I'm not saying you need to create an enemy or something, but like it helps people get behind you. And like if there's someone you're up against and like anything like that, it helps people get behind you and support your mission, you know, and they can either take sides. So in that video, one side is the traditional publishing world where it's very, you know, prestigious, very old school, you know, very like well put together. And then you got my side, which is like a kid sitting in McDonald's taking a Zoom call. Like
it was
that is like
hilarious,
Crazy.
bro.
that was almost like the underdog versus, you know, and
It
I
is.
think that's creating those narratives is very important as an artist and like figuring out what your narrative is. And I'm trying to lean more into that now and
Mhm,
knowing
mhm.
kind of where I am in that equation so people can understand who you are and what your art means and they can get behind it and support it because that video actually led to a lot of sales, which is really good. And I
Yeah,
didn't even tell anyone to buy the book, bro. Because like, if I made a video saying buy my book, no
it
one,
doesn't
people don't
work.
want to do that.
Yeah.
So you got to think like three-dimensionally almost and like,
Well, you
yeah, I don't want
said
to say
it
too much, but
perfectly.
yeah.
You
Mm,
said you almost created the enemy. And
literally.
in any good story, any
Mm,
good storyteller knows that in order for someone to be invested in a story, there needs to be a clear enemy. There needs to be the
Mhm.
hero and there needs to be the enemy. And there needs to be
or
also
some conflict or a conflict or something.
conflict. Yeah. But in order
Because
for
that's what
conflict to be understood,
mhm,
there still needs to be an enemy. Like for you to understand that, like, what's the conflict against? Because your conflict is still in opposition to something, or like, yeah, a
mhm,
push against something. So that what you said has been something that I've been like doing a lot of research on recently.
mhm,
There's an artist who I've been like listening to, and he's really spoken about like the aspect of the story, like the story branding motive, because it's more not only is it more true to you because it's just real, but when
mhm,
you tell someone, like especially in like sales, like if you're going to say to someone like buy this, like it's like, why do I need to buy this? What do you like?
yeah.
How is this going to benefit me? Because how is this going to add to my survival as a human being? Because at
Mhm,
the end of the day, like in sales, the only reason someone needs something or is convinced they might need something
mhm.
is if it adds to their survival, if it helps them survive. And so if that adds to their
Facts.
status, like if it's like even like if it makes me look fresher, that's survival because
Mm,
you look fresher as a human, as a male, you attract a mate, that's survival. So
mm.
that's like I guess a mindset that I've kind of adopted in a way, looking at things like almost biologically. But what you did and what it does is it shows that there's a story and everyone
But
likes a story. Like
that's what I
everyone likes.
realized.
Yes.
I realized with social media, I kind of ignored it a little bit before. I thought social media is like its own thing,
Mhm.
but like I realized every social media post is a piece of art in itself, and it's just like understanding that and understanding you can put story elements into a random social media post, and every audience they might not know why you're doing it, but like you can create narratives and like create worlds much easier if you pay more attention to what you're posting, and like that's what I've realized. I'm trying to be more intentional with what I post and I wouldn't say be more calculated, but like use the tools and like make art. And like a lot of people look at social media like it's this like bad thing, but I was there as well, and I think like it's a superpower to understand how the machine works and use it and to create art on the machine, you know. So it's not the enemy, it's just like it's a tool, and like understanding how it works is like super beneficial.
That's a good summary. I like
Mm,
that. I
It's
like that.
true, yeah. It's really true. It's so much, or what you come to realize, I feel like, is that so much of our perspective is just inflections, is the reflection, the the output of our own like anxieties and goals and desires and emotions. So like at the end of the day, like Instagram is a platform that is also like an art tool. And you'll find that like people who are free with their art form will might post, like me, I'm pretty free when it comes to things. Like I although like I have a bit of an algorithm that I work through in my mind now, but there's a whole range of artists that are posting on the platform, and then some post works that are like maybe like took them a day to create. Others post work that's like took them 6 years to create, but they
mm,
all appear at that sort of stage where it's like all on the surface. So then at the end of the day,
facts.
like what do you provide as those two artists that allow people to be more enveloped in the story? So if you can do that with a work that you created in a day, you're immensely talented. The advantage of
Yeah,
someone who's posting a work for 6 years is like you have 6 years of work.
yeah, I'm gonna just quickly hop in here. I'm gonna cut out. I'm on
Mhm.
2%, but I'll stay in as long as I can.
Okay, all right.
Legend,
He's
bro.
gonna steal someone
Sorry, bro.
else's phone and then he's like, bro, can I borrow your phone for a Zoom call?
No, we
That
good,
would
we
be kind of
good.
legendary. That would be
Imagine.
legendary.
Oh damn.
Um, yeah, I like that. I like that. It's like, yes, like you said, Zeke, you're seeing the surface level of a finished product
Mm,
on your screen, right? But you didn't get to see the layers and potentially years of effort that went into creating that thing. But it's all of those works are in the same,
Mm.
how would you say, like, I guess display, which is
mm.
on a flat surface, and it's like it's
It like
interesting. It's like
compresses
how
everything down into like
yes,
it
it
turns these,
literally
Yeah.
bro, it turns these
physically
five-dimensional
compresses.
it turns these five-dimensional ideas and years of influence, inspiration, and iteration into this compressed flat surface displayed on a screen that's like 6 inches tall, like, and
Mm.
it
So
can really mess with
that's the
art and how it's
constant.
perceived. Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah,
constant. And it's like it's
mm,
up to people, it's up to creatives in general to be like, okay, now that we have the parameters, how can we break them?
mm.
And I
Like,
think Jet, your
mm.
latest reel that you posted was a really good example of that.
Wait for tomorrow's one.
Oh
'Cause I'll
shit.
talk to you about that tomorrow,
Just
but
wait. Just wait.
Just wait.
I'll talk to you that it's about that tomorrow. But yeah,
Oh,
Hell yeah.
true.
it's
Hell
It,
yeah.
fun,
it
bro. I realize it's fun, bro. Social media is a game, and it's like just play the game, and it's fun, bro.
it is
Mm.
Like,
in a way, I guess like in a way, I think that's also maybe your understanding
mm,
of it. And
mm,
that's a beautiful thing. Like it's like if it's your game, then like figure out the same way that you master it and get to prestige master on it.
facts, bro. Facts.
100%.
I'm
100%.
like, it's definitely in the way that a game has a platform kind of, I definitely see it as that in the same way. Like it is in a way a fucking Modern Warfare 2 lobby where if you catch it at the wrong time, it's a mess. Like someone's cussing out each other's mama. Like there's people
Yeah,
fucking talking about all kinds of wild shit, and it's crazy. And then it has moments of complete stillness where you see something that's like so like transcendental. It's like something that you've never seen before that just inspires you to go outside and fucking and approach life in a different way. And I think the more that we can strive as creatives to give people a moment and captivate people with something that's not just like randomness, that then inspires them to go out and like take more of a moment. Like
Mm.
you guys had your content.
Reference piece.
Yeah, yeah. You guys had your content building
Tell them about
towards
mm,
something physical. you guys had a show, or he just said, "Tell me about reference piece."
Thank you for the plug, Jet. Okay, with reference piece, it's like, so maybe I'll tell you what it is first, and I guess I can tell you how I arrived at the name,
Yeah.
perhaps. So essentially, reference piece, I guess the way I could kind of define what it is right now is kind of like this umbrella banner, which is essentially going to be like a production company or it is a production company right now, or I guess like like
A creative
if you could
studio.
apply the same creative studio, exactly, that's perfect encapsulation. It's almost like what a kind of music label would be for what I'm trying to do,
Hmm.
which is like it's actually not always going to be my projects, but I'm hoping to build it up to a big enough platform where it's like anything that I consider to kind of be a reference piece would like it would be an honor almost to be able to project it through that platform. Not even as a way to like, get more numbers for myself, or it's not necessarily a gain thing for me. It's more of a platform for everyone.
Mm.
And the reason it's called reference piece is because I guess when I was younger, or I still am very inspired by a bunch of other people's art, and it gets me G'd up to go out and create stuff. And I'm constantly, seeing references and just being like, oh, like how can maybe I see a scene in a movie and I'm like, wow, I could make an entire video just from that scene.
Hmm.
And it's like, when I was a bit younger, I used to kind of get like a bit like, oh, wow. Like if I saw someone who had maybe taken my video as a reference and copied something from it, I used to be like, it used to kind of annoy me. And then I realized I've been doing that in my entire video like career or whatever. Like I literally see something, I'm like, wow, like how can I bring that into my world? And kind of what I realized was you have to make peace with references because I've referenced so many people. So many people have referenced me, or at least that's my perception. I don't actually know if they've seen my work.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but it's just
in some way.
interesting. Yeah, so it's basically just making peace with that fact. So it's like it's reference piece.
Yeah, it's a double entendre
Yeah, yeah,
because
because it's like it's a reference piece because
yeah.
PIECE, but it's
Yeah.
also just make peace with the fact that you're going to be referenced and you're going to continue to reference others, whether it's subconsciously or not.
Hmm. When you said how you sometimes might look through like a comment section and be like, how can this also relate like to me? Do you feel that like in a way that you have a lot of like oh shit, Jet's inside now.
What's good, Jet?
So
We'll just bring Jet up to
give me
speed.
just
So he just explained reference piece, the way that that is like a play on words, double entendre. Max explained like the inspiration behind it, and then oh, is Jet muted? Oh, he's muted. He's fixing his audio. But
yeah.
so Max, so basically like the same way that you mentioned before, like you might use the comment section in a way,
Can
and
you
then
hear me?
at some point, yeah, you might
Okay, we're
approach
back.
the comment section with like, how does this relate to my own craft? Like, do you feel ever like conflicted that like, you want to be accountable on your own terms, but that you're also conflicted by the the input from the outside world that you take in? Because for example, like sometimes, I'll say like I'll post something or I'll create something and be like, great, me as the creative, like now if I put myself in the perspective of the audience now, like how does that feel?
Mm.
But it's very easy to like dip too far into that. And I've gotten like I've almost mastered this now in being like they're doing their thing like I'm doing mine. It's like it's it's separate but it's universal. But because there's a fine line where like you can spend too much time maybe wondering like or making drawing comparisons and
Yes.
and it becomes like almost like instilled and it can then sort of diminish your own craft. So
100%, man. 100%.
yeah,
I have two, maybe three different answers,
yeah,
or
yeah.
the same answer with three different prongs, I guess,
Okay. Man's got a
to
trident.
that question. And this is, yeah, it's the
Tripod
trident
of
question.
answers, lad.
And yeah, it's the tripod trident.
Let's
And
go.
and I'm gonna answer it in a way where I think this is the question you're asking me, but just cut me off if I'm wrong at any point. But this is my interpretation of what you're
Mhm.
asking. So essentially, before I even get to a comment section or get to putting my stuff out on the internet, I do this thing when I'm creating a project, whether that's out shooting it, even just talking about it with friends or potential colleagues or whatever, and then also as I'm editing the project, the final project, I have this thing I do where I think of three people that this video caters to, or the three people I want to see that video and I'm making it for them. I literally go down to the exact person. I'm like, this video is for this person. And I'm not going to say who they are, but there's three people that are like literally
Or you use them
the
as like
past.
statues
Yeah,
almost.
like they're yeah, and it's like I've heard that you shouldn't really pedestal people too much, but they're creatives I actually look up to in Sydney quite a lot. And it's like I literally it sounds so wild to say this out loud because I've never said it before, but I cater my videos towards them
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
genuinely.
powerful.
And it's like and they've started to recognize it a bit more and it's like I've never told them that before, but they're now like this was years ago I started doing it and some of those people are still there like as my kind of reference points as to who I'm trying to cater towards and now they've started to recognize that work and it's really crazy feeling because now I'm like do I have to update those people now? I don't know.
You might need to just like update the mentality behind it. It's like you had the
Mm,
people there, but like what is it about? Like be a bit more analytical with that and be like, what is it about those
interesting.
people that you wanted to attract? Like if this person creates something that is geared towards this sort of vibe, what is it about his, you
That's
know,
super interesting.
it
That's
might
Bro,
something
help
go
I've
you.
deep
never
into
thought
it, bro.
about.
Yeah.
Write
I've
the
never
names
thought about
down
that.
and think about what does that person have that
Yeah.
I like either maybe admire or want to get yourself, or what is the even think about this is very interesting, like psychological experiment on yourself. Like, what am I validation am I seeking from them that
Yes,
I'm
it
maybe
is
looking
valid.
for myself?
It's
Do you know what I mean? Like, what are
100%.
those points, you
Yeah,
know?
you're right. It 100% comes down to validation. And I don't think it's coming from like a place of toxic, like, oh, I need their validation, I'm seeking it. It's more of like
Mm,
I look up to them as tastemakers in Australia, but especially Sydney. And it's like I'm not trying to do it to please them or anything like that. It's just I just want it's almost like it's not necessarily like a tick of approval that they liked my thing, but it's just like they're the people I know that are shifting culture, and it's like to be able to be in their conversation is awesome, man, because it's
Mm.
like that's what I want to be one day. I want people to look up to me and be like, okay, not because of ego, but because I'm actually doing something that's worth it and doing something that's shifting culture in the right direction. I want kids to look up to that, just like I look up to these people.
Mm. I think they do,
Um,
like right
facts.
now.
I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. Oh, well,
You can never,
it became,
you might
yeah,
never
it
tell. I
became
mean,
something a bit more tangible seeing it at the art exhibit. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like,
yeah,
whoa, people
that's
are
the power.
offline here watching this thing right now and copying Jet's book and looking at the art.
Like silhouette, then you went,
Mate, it's a secret I could never tell. No, I'm joking. I don't
In
bro,
know.
case he's
drop
got
it to
Zoom
me.
Premium.
Yeah, I've got
Drop it to me,
Xemium.
lad.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that. We had a short break for our not official sponsor. And now we're
An
back.
intermission.
Yeah. Um,
Sponsor is Skazoodle as the sponsor.
That's
we're
it.
officially sponsored by Skazoodle is the first sponsor for the show.
Hell yeah.
But where we left off, Max, you were mentioning,
Oh yeah, 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 true. I still run the topic of
Impressing people.
yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we
There's
sort of
that.
said like, what if, if we try and be more like analytical with the approach, maybe like understanding like why you have these particular people like as
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
more than just discovering why and what it is about those people that you're using them as like an
Mm,
inspiration or and that sort of thing beyond validation because like even like myself as well I feel like that resonates because at some point I mean everybody gets inspired um, and like until I think until you almost have this like sense of assertiveness within yourself that comes as like this sure feeling, then there's always like components that you might like take as inspiration from outside and whatnot. Um,
definitely.
But then
Yeah, I think, well, I'm sure you boys have artists or creators or filmmakers or designers that you guys look up to, right? I
Facts.
think what it comes down to for this whole thing that we've kind of been discussing is like, I think the reason that I have those people there as like the forefront of like, it's almost like they're the kind of front row of the audience that I've kind of am putting this work out to. And I think the reason I've chosen those people to be in the front row of seats is because they're people I look up to, but it's also tangible enough where it's like I can go and meet up with them in real life, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And also, because social media makes it the world like that little bit small, like the gap between actually being able to show your work to someone who you think would appreciate it and them actually seeing it, it shortens it, right? Almost like there is no gap anymore. And I think that's why I've chosen those people because obviously they're tastemakers in their respective fields, and I want them to see the work because I think that there's potential for collaboration or potential for just an appreciation for the thing I'm trying to put out.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's just more tangible in that
I feel
respect.
like
So that's
having those
why,
people is good so you don't get like stuck in your own head. You don't get overdo it or like say there's only an audience of one, you might go too off the deep end, you know? So it's
yeah,
good having those people to like bounce ideas off or like get
definitely.
feedback on they like it or not. And then it's like kind of gives you some, they're kind of like almost you're putting up little posts, I guess, like a little box where it's like maybe a box is the wrong like metaphor, but like marks or like little checkpoints, I guess, or like I don't know, but yeah, I think it's I never thought about doing that, but I might try
It
think
could, I
about
guess
who
it's
would
like a
my
fold.
intended audience be. 'Cause I do have an idea for my audience, what they look like, you know. Um, but yeah, that's really cool that you do that.
It depends
Yeah,
on what you're creating as well, I think. Like,
Mm,
and understanding that like separating yourself as well from like your work in a healthy way is what you need to do in order to allow people to connect to it. Because like not everybody is gonna like want to connect with who you are as a person. Like some people will really
mm.
just want to connect and they're just there for the work. Like they really appreciate the work and like yes, they want to know who you are, but like they might not want to like connect innately like with you if you're not putting that out. So, like I think
Can I hop
you,
in there for a
yeah, yeah.
second? Sorry to cut
All
you
good.
off, but it just made me think of this magic to releasing art or content or whatever you are putting out into the world. It is almost like a magnet. If you
Mm,
create something and put it out into the world, it's weird how it works because, bro, the amount of stuff I've put out into the world over the past 5, 6 years or whatever, it's just attracted people into my life who are just like me. And it's just like, I wasn't trying to do that.
mm,
You know, even like when I was doing the Teji stuff years ago, one of the first people who actually first person who bought my t-shirt, he's from America, complete other side of the world. This guy found me somehow. I don't know how he
yeah,
found me, but
that's
he
great.
resonated with my drawing and like this vibe and aesthetic. And then I learned more about him and we become friends. He literally looks like me. He listens to the same music as me.
You
He
found your
wears the same
buddy,
brands
bro.
crazy.
as me. Literally
That's
my twin.
crazy.
Yeah.
And like into the same things. And that just came from one piece of art. And then like, so shout out to Carson. I don't know if he's
Shout
watching
out
this
to
right now,
Carson,
but
bro.
Shout out
shout
to
out to
Carson.
Carson, bro.
Big name as well.
Early supporter of Teji. So I got to always pay my homage, you know?
Respect to the day one,
Very
the real
cool.
day one Carson. Yeah.
Max, he was the person who bought that shirt when I had one sale.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me. That's
Mm,
insane, bro. He's a real one. He's literally day one to the highest degree. You can't get more day one than that.
Yeah.
mm.
That's
He was like
crazy,
the
man.
first person on the game, bro. He's like he like loaded in, there's no one else to play with. He's like, fuck it. Vibing
But
it
isn't
out.
Yeah.
that, bro,
Vibing
but
to the
isn't that
venue
cool
music.
how art can connect? Like without you even trying, like you just release something and
Mm.
weirdly just even the algorithm, there's like a spiritual connection
Mm.
aspect to it. Like I used to look at the algorithm, this bad, evil thing, but it's like there's this almost powerful connection to it that it connects people. I never would have met you guys without the internet.
It is true.
Neither
Like
YouTube, you
Interesting.
know what I
we do
mean?
owe the
Interesting.
internet, but we also owe
Hmm.
you also owe it to yourself being true to who you are. Like,
That's what I mean. If you're fake, you attract fakeness. If you're real, you
yeah,
attract
yeah,
real, you
yeah.
know?
Like putting on a facade, or you just like you might reflect and be like, why is my audience like this? And it's like because
Mm.
you've been not doing what you want to truly do. You haven't taken the time to kind of like figure out, is this what I want to vocalize right
Facts.
So
Facts.
it's something that I've been looking into. Like, so I've moved more from like personally now. Like, it's been interesting because like I've been working still with like, people that have brands and people that have ideas, but now I'm gearing myself more towards like, okay, you have an idea, like where I come in is building more of the foundation that your idea resides in. So like, yes, like I can get to the point where I'm helping develop your idea, but ideas fall through and people become unmotivated and uninspired by their ideas and move on to the next big thing because their idea lacks the solid foundation that sets up the integrity of that idea. So, if you're coming up with this, I'm talking about brands and identities. Like if you're setting this up, like you need the solid foundation. You need like all the details, all the meticulous components, like a scientist creating a formula. Like for that formula to be a success, like, and for that to be like something you can use out in the world, like you better make sure that when you make this formula in front of somebody, it's not going to fucking explode. Or that, if they're like, well, what about if you do this, that you can then explain that. And that can only be achieved through like that foundation. So like it's been part of my experience now is like setting up the ideas and setting up the foundation that creates things for longevity because that's the power that we have, like, and it's what already puts us on the same level as just creatives. Like we are the same creative as David Cho, as Tyler the Creator, as
True.
like Alexander McQueen. Like, yeah, I mean, the difference in scale is time. Like how much time have they had to like, be beaten around or like experience this and do that? Like, you can only condense that so much before like 24 hours are filled up with every hour doing something. And then even at that point, you're stretching yourself. So
I
that's,
think that, bro, the time idea is so overlooked. I think in artist
yeah,
careers and stuff, we often have these weird timelines in our head and we kind of disregard how much of an impact time has on careers. Like it takes so long for ideas to resonate. It takes such a long time for you to hone in your craft and your voice. And it's like we want it today, but I think it's just you got to work with time, not against it. And
you got
it's
to
like,
build a
and
skyscraper.
time is actually it's like an amplifier, it's a multiplier. I imagine time is a double XP weekend. You know what I mean? So if you're creating art, time is only going to amplify the art if you're consistent with it. If you're not, you don't have a good foundation, it's probably going to fizzle out. But time can amplify things. If you're doing the same thing, repetition, 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 repetition,
Mhm.
maybe first 5 years, quiet, next 5 years, quiet. But then maybe on the 10th, 12th, 15th year, finally time has caught up and like
Mm.
it's working with the stuff
Wow.
from 7 years ago, 8 years ago, and it all makes sense. So I think time is so easy to overlook in a career and even in
Yeah.
work that we put out. We think very narrow-minded with time, I think. Like we gotta realize some of the things we're releasing, this video, this is an artifact. People can come back to this in 10 years' time, and it's like you gotta realize things that we're making, these are like pivotal moments. Might seem like a silly little, whatever it might be, if it's a TikTok video, but people go back to that. You see it in careers all the time. People
Yeah. Yeah.
dig up all artists' old Instagram posts. They didn't realize they were going to get dug up. So you'd have like a foresight into the future to have stuff there, for people to discover you and then learn about you. So that's just I like thinking about long time horizons with work and
Very
careers.
interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like you don't
Yeah.
feel pressure like sometimes I'll feel pressure to like give myself an imaginary time frame with a project or be like, oh yeah, this is like about this time. But I feel like Jet, you really inspired me, like especially like, and I think a lot less like that now. But when I first met you, Jet, I was like had this fucking a stopwatch in my head, like constantly. Sometimes I'd be like, there'd be something going, but you really kind of resonated that you were on your own time, like and that like you had so much patience with what you were creating as well. And like even Max, like with your film, like also there's elements there where just like you just have whatever you've put out on this in the surface have been other projects, but these particular projects that you've had and you've just been building, like chiseling away at this thing and
In
Mm.
private as well. I got to
yeah,
respect that
yeah,
and give Max his flowers because like
yeah.
this project he's working on, no one even knows about, and it's just like, damn. And to be able to work on something, this is a crazy thing. It took me a very long time to do. I'm still trying to get good at. Is like working on projects in silence without needing outside validation and just like working on it quietly. Like you don't need to like tell everyone about it because I think sometimes what I used to do, I see people do it all the time, is they'll float ideas to people because they're trying to figure out if they like the idea themselves versus just trusting their own intuition and just like
Yeah.
working away at it. And then when the
Mm.
time's right, then releasing it, you know?
Yes, yes. I think that's something that I've always trusted within myself, where it's just like, and it's not, again, I hate prefacing what I say because it feels like it's so unnecessary, but I also don't want to come across hella egotistical.
Okay,
But anyway,
true.
for the remainder of this episode, I'm not going to preface myself anymore. I'm just going to say what I think.
You got
Um,
to like, yeah.
yeah, I think that's the best way to do it, bro, because otherwise it's just waste time.
Timothy
Um,
Chalamet. I'll speak about that after you say what you're
hectic,
gonna say.
hectic. Hell yeah, hell yeah. Essentially, I really, really trust my vision to the point where I don't necessarily, it's like Jet saying about people floating ideas. I don't think there's even any point to that, bro. I think if you're gonna trust yourself and your instinct fully to the highest extent and as far as it can go, and you just go and make the project, people are gonna love it because it's you.
Mm,
And it's what they like. When I watch an artist or when I watch a movie, I want to see what the director's thinking. Like I don't want to see what a boardroom of people injecting cash into their project was. I want to see what his idea was and how far he could push himself to be vulnerable and explain this
mm.
concept, right? I don't know if that's why other
Facts.
people watch things or why other people, view
Everybody
art.
approaches it with their own
But
That's
I
magnifying.
think unconsciously pick up on something if it's real or not. You can tell if something was you might not know how or why it is, but you can feel because you're
Yes.
resonating
Yes,
with
exactly,
it.
exactly. Because there's that
Mm,
quote, Jet and I were talking about this the other. There's a quote from Scorsese, which is, I don't know if this is the exact quote, but it's
mm.
essentially the most personal is the most universal.
Mm,
Because it's
Love
like
that quote.
you just give it everything you've got and you just be so real with it and so raw that it has like this inverse paradoxical effect where it's like that's why everyone can resonate with it. It
yeah,
becomes a product for everyone or an
yeah.
artwork for everyone because it was so you and so
Well, you're
you just gave
open.
everything to it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
it's this weird, like Max said, it's a paradox where it's like you could try and make something so universal, catering to everyone, where it's like it's this almost like a vanilla character where it's like it has no face. It's like an NPC character because there's no personality because you're trying to cater to everyone. But it's like as soon as you go super personal and you actually start creating like boundaries almost, and it is almost like a paradox where you're cutting off potential audiences. You know what I mean? It's like they're not going to resonate with this because this is about this one subject, and
Yes.
then it's this weird inverse effect where it's like because the core of it that's driving it is the real human experience and emotion that comes through. Whereas that wouldn't come through if it was just a bland, very universal, but if it's
Catering
a
to
very
everyone.
niche, I don't want to say niche, but like if it's just very personal, then it's going to come through whoever's experiencing that work. And I really
Yeah,
love that quote. Mm,
definitely, bro. Definitely. And just piggybacking off that, Jay, it's like for so long I've seen personal as in going in and within.
mm.
And it is to an extent, but I think I want to start viewing it more as personal is like you said, is opening up. Instead of
Yeah,
going
bro.
within, you're actually revealing.
Yeah.
It
Wow,
shouldn't just
that
be a
is
dive within, it
crazy.
should be a reveal without, if that kind
But
of makes sense.
Wow. Yeah,
that's when you connect.
it's
Like,
like you're
Mm,
taking off your clothes. It sounds crazy,
well,
yeah.
but like
well,
literally, like
but
it's
it's
scary.
true.
Bro, I heard
It
someone
is
say
scary, right?
being an artist is just walking down the street naked, all like your scars and like
Have
it's like
y'all
scary,
y'all seen
but
the
it's like,
viral stuff that's been popping on Instagram? Some of those Sydney guys that have been like pouring milk on themselves and doing these
Yes.
public
Yes,
performances.
bro.
Look, whatever you think
Yes.
of that, like, okay, there's two layers to that. Like, you're gonna think about it from the viewer perspective innately if you're there, and you're like, this is the silliest, most heinous act. Like, they're just pouring milk on themselves, which is exactly what they're doing. But what they're actually doing, what they're really showing, is like is a performance of the freedom to be vulnerable. Is like
Yeah.
mm,
that's like they're boiling themselves down, like their ego is gone. Like it's like in that act, by doing that, they're showing what it's like. And I mean, if they weren't connecting and if they weren't being vulnerable, there wouldn't be like 100 people sitting there watching. So,
That's
you
true.
know,
For
it's like
real, man.
art is controversial, and part of the controversy is like in being open and expressing yourself without caring about judgment of others. Because as soon as you care about the judgment of someone else, you're using that as a bounce, and you're like, oh, okay, like, oh, they said this, I'm gonna go in this direction. But like a lot of the time, these people might stand in your path to just being like 100% your narrative. And so the moment that's the issue is the moment you kind of seek validation is you risk that person maybe being stronger than just someone that you're traveling by on the train that you kind of see and you're just like, cool. The risk is that like you might get off now and like spend a moment there and be like talk with that person and talk with that idea
Mm.
that it can add to the potency of your direction. But at the end of the day, like you said, Jet, like and to be open and to be naked is to be 100% you. You're not wearing any clothes, you're not wearing any brands. You just like you're butt naked. Like there's
But
nothing.
you could, for people who might not be understand the metaphor, you could have a full fit on. You could still be naked
Well,
wearing a fit, if that makes sense. Because
yeah, you don't need
wearing
to
a
literally
certain
be
type,
naked.
I know, but I just mean like wearing a certain type of outfit or clothing, maybe
Yeah.
you feel naked wearing a brand you haven't worn before. Maybe you feel like you're stepping into vulnerability when you do put on that really expensive jacket or like something, some fit you're not used to. That is the same, stepping into that vulnerability. And by doing that, one thing that was really cool, it wasn't like I was wearing some crazy stuff, but in New York, I was just wearing some shoes. I didn't even know what they were. They're like these Gats, the German army trainers replicas.
Oh
They
yeah,
wore them back in the day.
you had the
I was
OG
wearing
ones, not the
the
Margielas.
OG, yeah. And I was just walking down some subway station in New York,
Yeah.
and these dudes just stopped me like, bro, I love your shoes, man. And they're just like people connecting through
Yeah.
fashion, through art. And it's
Damn, I
just
just
like,
realized,
that's not
dude,
a
Jed, you
vulnerable
started
thing.
the trend, bro.
No, I didn't start the trend, but like,
Those kids went back to their studio and they were like, "What about that guy? Like, we're only gonna wear those fucking
mm.
gats." Like they researched it. That's
But I think
crazy.
it's cool where a piece, like a piece, of artwork, a clothing piece, can be a connector
Yep.
between two people. If someone has a shirt on, a rapper, maybe you see that same G hat, golf hat, you
Hmm.
know instantly you're gonna probably get along with them.
Yep.
It's
Yeah,
like the bridges. Art is bridges. That's what I
part of
think
the
art is.
tribal
It's like a
thing.
bridge. You know, it's a connector. Mm.
But then where you guys said like it is like yeah a bit paradoxical and a bit this and a bit that, but like at the end of the day, it's like it's really and like through my own tests of this, it's like anytime and I've put out work where I've knowingly been conscious that this is like um mimicking or like this is like it's using a heavy reference and I put it out and been like I just wonder like I fuck with the work either way but there's some work that I fuck with because it's something where I've referenced something heavily and I really enjoy it for that or I've just managed to channel something that's 100% me. It's like this has just been the natural flow and I'm just putting it out and then both come out and it's interesting to see like how people resonate, you know, and it's like the truest connection is always stuff that you've just put out off your own narrative, off your own, you know, you've done your
Yes.
research, you have your foundation. This is why I do this. You know, if someone asks you and tests you on an idea where you have a heavy reference, like a lot of the time you just won't be able to explain it with as much depth as something that you've just like, oh, I know that I've
Naturally.
done this. Yeah, like, why
Mm.
did you make this? Why did you say that? Because that's just how I felt. Like, well, I'm
Mm.
inspired by this and I want to inspire like this feeling and I really like this emotion. Or like when I was 6, I was watching Star Wars with my dad and he told me like, look at Luke Skywalker's outfit. And ever since then, I've been inspired to make costume design that gives people a connection to their dad. There's what do you
That's
draw
sick.
on from you as a human, as like a baby, you know, from that is the purest. So yeah,
Mm.
that's where it's like I get it where some people just
Hello?
where some people he's getting a call from Zoom right now.
The Zoom's too fire, bro. Getting a call from the police.
For
Sorry,
real.
sorry. Speaking of dads, my dad just called me. I got
Oh,
some
for
dinner here.
real.
I got some pizza here. I'm gonna
What
Okay.
a
go eat some
spin
dinner.
out.
Shout out to
Thank you
dad.
for
I
having me,
think
Luca.
bless, bro.
Appreciate that. I'm gonna go down, grab some food. I'll see you tomorrow, Max. In the morning. Little CrossFit session.
Yes,
I'll text you
bro.
in the
Bro.
morning.
Yeah.
We'll
That's
I
it,
chop it
think
bro.
up.
I think we can note it here. Like I'm down to leave it even like on the because then
Sorry,
it's
I don't
like
want
if
to
we
cut.
do no, I feel like if we do
Yeah.
another episode, that's dope.
Yes, bro, we should. We should. This is a really good
Like
conversation.
so
Mm.
I feel like if all creatives were having these conversations regularly,
yeah,
Australia would be on the map on a different level, man.
it'll
I think it's
happen.
just a matter of time. It's a matter of
Yeah,
time.
yeah. But
Mm.
I'm really down with this. I think it's dope. I know that we could speak like for at least 5 more hours. So
Bro, do it.
For
Do
real,
a
bro.
5 hour
Yeah.
episode. Fuck it.
So drop it,
In
mate.
person, in person. We'll come to Milan,
Mm.
bro.
That
We'll
would be
run it.
crazy. That would be crazy.
Yo.
Yeah, I'm down to scale this. Like, it's got good foundation, and I really enjoy it. Like nowadays, I'm just like connected with so many different individuals. Like, so it's like, why not bring them up and just like talk about just why we dream and the different
Mm.
things like
Hell yeah.
that and just whatnot.
Hell
So
yeah. I love
Look,
that, bro. Thanks for having us, man. Really
bless,
appreciate it.
bro. Shout out to Jet Williams. Shout out to Max Donna. Y'all look catch them. I'll have their socials here. Check out their projects. They got crazy work upcoming. Jet's got something crazy dropping tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be.
Just
Max has got
wait.
some
Just
crazy
wait.
dropping. Just wait. Just wait. I'm going to have
JW,
that
just
on
wait.
captions like,
That's
oh,
it.
yo, JW, just wait. And Jet Williams. That's crazy. That's
I
wild.
love that. I love that.
Yeah, I would say I leave you with this, like build your foundation and take the time that it needs for that to turn into concrete with what you're building. Exactly. And just and what is that? It's like a blurry, it's like a like a
Nothing.
for real. But be a dreamer and believe in yourself. You can't fail. All right.
Exactly.
Facts.
And don't be scared to walk down the street naked.
Yep.
Facts, bro.
Don't be scared to take those clothes off.
Metaphorically.
Yeah.
Metaphorically,
Metaphorically.
It's
don't be
about to
getting
be
any
like,
charges for that.
Don't walk down the street naked unless you're. Don't
what?
ever do that.
I mean, damn, if they really feel like they got to do it, like if it's 100% them, I'm saying you sometimes you just got to do it.
You
Like
just
if
gotta
you
do it.
Wouldn't recommend, but if you want to do it, do it. Mm.
for
Go
real,
hard.
freedom, bro, true freedom.
That's it.
So,
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
look, I really appreciate this. Seriously, it's cool you bringing us on to be the first people. Keen to see how this looks when you put it out, chop it up. Super
bless.
keen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got to head down now, but I really
All right.
appreciate it.
This has
See you
been
guys
since we
soon.
last spoke.
Ladies,
Ladies,
boys,
boys, I'll
take
see you
care.
soon.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is...
I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like and subscribe and all those good things. But the most important thing is that you enjoy the damn show. Okay? That's what's up.